Now, Storm Watch 12 weather with meteorologist Oliver Smith.
Well, temperatures to the south and to the east of the Rogue Valley right now are pretty hot, but for the southwestern part of Oregon, not too bad overall. But we are looking at 98 degrees, very hot over in Lakeview, 96 in Klamath Falls, very close to 100 degrees for both Montague and Mount Shasta City, although Montague at 102. But we have 60s, 70s, and 80s for southwestern Oregon. It's 87 right now in Medford, 77, plenty warm, and Brookings, though 61 in Gold Beach. Now, the air quality report, it's been pretty bad, especially into the Rogue Valley right now, essentially from about Cave Junction all the way through Ashland. Down to the south, it improves just a little bit more. And off towards the east, it improves a little bit more as well. So the worst air, unfortunately, is mostly into the Rogue and the Illinois Valley. Along the Oregon coast, it is a little bit better over towards Brookings, but not everyone has escaped it. Now, the smoke's actually coming from the Diamond Complex fire, and this is actually some of the smoke. So just to kind of give you an idea of where we're looking at, you can see Eugene over here where I'm pointing, and then down to the bottom left-hand corner of your screen is Roseburg. So we're up north of our viewing area. Here's the actual fire itself, and all this gray right around it is smoke. So we'll kind of zoom in a little bit more here. This is, I think, the last couple of hours. So all this smoke is responsible for what we're looking at for our poor air quality right now. Now, the interesting thing is earlier the wind directions have been going all over the place. We've been looking, right now we're looking generally from the northwest, but earlier, last couple hours, we had winds coming out of the south and kind of out of the southeast, so they were kind of going all over, which kind of stirs all that smoke around. So when you get that, and then you get things like turbulence in the air that kind of spreads out all that smoke, and it just makes it pretty nasty. But the good thing is that now we're starting to get a little bit more of that northwesterly flow, so I think we'll probably start seeing some improvement for tonight. Forecast for tonight overall, generally into the 50s. We'll see some 60s as well, especially over by Wairika, since you stay a little bit warmer than Montague. But temperatures east of the Cascades into the 50s, 58 for Medford, 55 for Brookings, still again with the smoke and the haze. For tomorrow, again, smoke and haze continuing. Temperatures, though, climbing throughout our region. 97 for Lakeview, 98 in Medford, 104 for Wairika, still mid-70s, though, along the Oregon coast. Now, in terms of our stormcast, we're not really going to be looking at a whole lot of activity for the remainder part of tonight, which is definitely good news because we did have a slight threat of thunderstorms over towards Lake County, but it looks like nothing's really happening at this time. Tomorrow, that activity stays just to the extreme southeastern part of Lake County, so most of the region probably won't see any dry thunderstorms, which is definitely good news since we don't need any more lightning strikes. But for tomorrow, we're going to be looking at clouds on the increase, generally from the south-southwest. There may be a few showers possible over towards parts of Siskiyou County, but for the most part, this system, when it moves through the region, won't really do a whole lot. Now, in terms of the smoke forecast, again, we're looking at the winds calming down throughout the night, so things tend to spread on out. We'll continue to see the thickest smoke probably east of the Cascades, but we still see it here west of the Cascades. But earlier in the morning, it seems a little bit better, and then in the afternoon, we start getting the smoke from up north. So that's going to continue for the next couple of days as well. Unfortunately, we're also going to keep wind along the Oregon coast, and then the wind really starts to pick up east of the Cascades once we get towards Wednesday, especially, like I said, east of the Cascades. So the hottest temperatures moving in from the southeast for tomorrow. That's why temperatures are going to climb up a bit more. They kind of stick around on Wednesday, but they finally start to push away over the next several days after that. So we're going to be looking at temperatures getting fairly close to our seasonal average, and then things may get slightly interesting once we get towards early next week. In fact, here's your forecast for the Oregon coast. Temperatures in the mid-70s for the next couple of days, cooling down into the 60s. And yeah, I put a slight chance of rain on Monday because there's some indication that we may get a system approaching close enough where we might actually have that possibility of some precipitation and in a beneficial kind. So we'll keep that on track on that. Northern California, again, maybe a few showers and thunderstorms early on Wednesday. Otherwise, it's pretty dry and temperatures cool off once we get past Tuesday and Wednesday. Klamath Basin, mid to upper 90s for the next couple of days. A few thunderstorms possible, especially out towards Lake County. But then temperatures drop into the 80s, so it'll feel fairly nice out through that. Cascades, you look high and dry, going from the 80s through Wednesday, 70s after that, and overnight lows dropping into the 40s. And here in the Rogue Valley, again, pretty hot for the next couple of days, smoky and hazy. It'll come and go, but then temperatures drop off into the low 90s. I actually feel comfortable by the end of the week, although 92 is still hot, but it's better.
It feels a lot better than what we've been seeing the last couple of weeks, and it looks like, forgive me if I'm wrong, if I was falling asleep at the desk, but it looks like lightning over the next couple of days is really what we're looking at.
Well, it's actually going to be a little bit too far to the east for the most part, so that's going to be good.
We'll keep our fingers crossed.
Yeah.
Thanks, Oliver.
You bet.